Okay. So, you know, do you guys believe it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So there are two kinds of people in this world, mainly. One is called normies, normal people. Okay. Second one are sons. People are thinking daughters. Why not daughters? Sons are daughters. Daughters are sons. Okay. There exists only.
We don't have a term.
We don't have a term for it, so we will just call it sons. Okay. Normies are driven by fear and emotion. Fear comes with fear, emotion comes, and they're all led by that. So that is why you'll see all this scattering, running around, rat races, whatever. Sons are led by the Spirit. And it looks like the word that we know in all forms. Okay? So I'm gonna, before we go forward, I'm gonna release what was given to us, what was released over us, the prophetic word for us, Mercy and Vamsi, but that also means for TNC. This is given to us by Prophet Ezra Moses at the beginning of this year. As the whole thing is not recorded, he said a few things before and after the recording. So I have added that, but most of what I'm reading right now is exactly word to word is what he said. This, he said, this is a proper prophetic word. This year, you're going to double. Okay? And when I say double, I'm talking about people, not to houses or to cars. I'm talking about the multitudes that are going to come behind you, and very important people will come. How do I double people? When God says you will double, you will multiply. It's not like He is going to do it. There is something that we need to do. Say we need to do.
We need to do.
But in that doing, you will see a double of people. And these people are going to be people with influence, people with money. You've sown your seed. You've sown your seed. You've really sown it. And your time of harvest is here. And this harvest is people. But people who are now going to come and support you, partner with you, with your purpose, and that is what you will see this year. And the next thing is you will see your name being made famous for a reason which you will not need it for this year, but you will see it happen. And Mercy and I said, Amen. Okay, so two things, guys. First thing, there's work to do. No? Okay? Because the word itself says very clearly, yes, this is the word, but there is something that needs to be done. There is something you guys need to do. Okay? We will get there little by little. And second thing is new people will come. Okay? That means the old who are there, you need to receive them with open arms. And people who are coming will have more capacity to do, will have more whatever than who we already have. Okay?
You don't feel threatened.
And yeah, you should never feel threatened. Okay? It's a reaping for us for all the sowing that we've done, right? So, and it's because, why is this happening? Because we answered the call. Mercy and I, we answered the call and we are faithful because we always have the bigger picture in our mind. Okay? Say bigger picture. It's about the world, and even if the both of us can't change the world at large, we'll do a little bit. And that's plenty. Okay? So we work with what we have. Doesn't mean someone is lesser or someone is more. Simple as that. It's everybody needs to remember that. Okay? Even today, if I see somebody can do here better than what we can do, we will just give it to you. We will just give it to you. You take it, you run it. We will just follow you. That's something that's up, and that's something why we are submitted to where we are submitted as well, which is Wildlife. Okay, where word is lived out and acted on, or not just spoken. You know that? That's the first thing that really stood out for us. Word is not just spoken. Word is not just said, but it is lived out. It is acted upon. Okay, so to build, say to build.
Yeah.
We need to let go of our egos. You remember there is a place in the Bible. Jesus said, "What are you guys talking about?" And these guys are saying they're arguing. They're all arguing, and they're saying, "Who's bigger? Who's the greatest among us?" Okay, this happened that time itself. Okay, so they're obsessed. It says in Luke 22, 24 to 27, they're obsessed with how others see them. It says very clearly written. Okay, but this is not your calling. What he's saying is kings and leaders, whoever those guys are out there, Jesus is saying, they're obsessed with how others see them. Okay? And because we are obsessed with how others see them is when we have all these issues about petty issues, about I'm better, I'm less, whatever. Okay? But that is not your calling, is what Jesus says. You will lead by a different model. You guys know what the model is? Do you? Have you read the Bible before? Okay. The greatest one among you will live as one called to serve others without honor. What? Without? Very, the same Bible that says, seek ye first, seek honor. Here it says, without honor, the greatest among you will serve. Okay? So, even when we seek honor, we don't seek it to satisfy our egos. We seek it so the word is established wherever we seek it. And it's a blessing to the other person. That is why we seek honor. But it doesn't rattle us, it doesn't let our ego go, whatever. And this goes on to say, the greatest honor and authority is reserved. The greatest, what does the greatest mean? Is reserved for the one who has a servant heart. This is your Bible, folks. This is your God speaking. The leaders who are served are the most important in your eyes, but in the kingdom, it is the servants who lead. It is the servants. Am I not here with you as one who serves? He's saying. And Mercy and I ask you, are we not here with you as the one who serves? Okay? Same incident in Mark 9:35 is recorded as Jesus sat down, called the 12 to him, and said to them, if anyone wants to be first, he must be content to be last and become a servant to all. So, when new people come, remember to serve. If someone's doing something better than you, or they're available for whatever reason, you let them be. You don't fight for position. Because the higher the position you are in the kingdom, if it is a true position, the more work you will have. The more work. More work means more pressure. You will have to carry much more. Okay, moving on to the word today. You guys okay?
Yes.
That's your word, people. I don't know what church was like outside or whatever you guys are going, but this is what it is. If you haven't seen me working for you guys, you need to let me know. I'm okay with it. I cook for you, I clean for you, I do whatever I can, I do for you, no? Once he also does that, No, that's not why I'm asking. Yeah, of course, thank you. It's an absolute total pleasure because we believe in a bigger reason and a purpose before we do all this, okay? We open whatever we have, we share what we have because we believe in the bigger picture, okay? And today, if you see our lives as an example or some way like, wow, how is this guy doing it? You need to understand it's because we are willing to lay it all down, okay? Isaiah 65. This is actually a reality according to the scriptures. This is who you need to be. Then you will see and be radiant. You will see and be? Okay, talk to me, all right? And your heart will thrill and rejoice. Isn't this what we are looking for every day? Thrill and rejoice, okay? Because the abundance of the sea will be turned to you. Turned to who? To you. The abundance of the sea. What is the biggest water body in the world? The oceans. 70% of the earth is waters, and he says all the seas that you have, and it's all the ocean, their abundance will be turned towards you, okay? And then he goes on to say the wealth of the nations will come to you. What's he saying? The wealth of the nations. Some of you thinking, what is my bank balance right now? And then you're thinking, wealth of the nations. Nah, this is some hula hula going on. This is not true. This is not true. Okay, why then we don't experience such? Because there is work to do on your behalf. There is? God speaks something, God says something, it will happen. It doesn't happen, right? Because it happened in the spirit. There is a progression that we all need to go through. Okay? Like the prophetic word above, we need to reciprocate when something is a promise. We need to reciprocate when something as a promise is either written or spoken. Okay, that's what we're going to do. There'll be quite a bit of reading today. Track with me. Okay? James 1, 23 to 25. Okay? How many of you remember the title? Huh? I will read it again for you. Generosity in perseverance, a position of prosperity. It's self-explanatory. If you can understand it, that's brilliant. But I'm going to establish the same thing that we've spoken through the word. And like I said, there will be reading. So track with me, please. Okay? James 1, 23 to 25. I will follow the Passion Translation again to make it easier. Okay? If you listen to the word, if you If I say if you just said whatever I said, repeat that to me, okay? If you listen to the word and don't live out the message you hear, and don't live out, you become like the person who looks in the mirror of the word and to discover the reflection of his face in the beginning. In the beginning was what? Adam. In the beginning was Adam. If you read, if you listen to the word, and if you don't live out the word, you will be like a person looking in the mirror, and you will see yourself as someone in the beginning, not the one who are you now. And the beginning was Adam, okay? But those who set their gaze deeply into the perfecting law of liberty are fascinated. Say fascinated. And respond. And what? They are not only fascinated, they respond to the truth they hear and are strengthened by it. They then, I'm adding the then there, experience God's blessing in all that they do. Okay? Respond to the word. Even if it's saying yes, when you're listening to the word, say yes. It's good. Or say, come on. I don't need you all to pump me up, but it'll be good for you. It's a psychosomatic thing. When you say yes, or when you say come on, you are affirming. Why you do affirmations then? Affirmations is I am wealth, I am health, all that we do, right? Why are we doing it? You are affirming to yourself. So you're using your faculties, your voice, your senses to say I am. So when you listen to the word, please do that. It's good for you. Okay? So when the word comes, according to this, a response is needed. If there is no response, you are your self at the beginning. You are your old self. So are you responding? Huh? Not very confident. Okay, we talk about a little bit about perseverance. Say perseverance. Perseverance. Okay, book of Jacob 1:2-8, aka James. This is what he says. My fellow believers, when it seems as though you are facing nothing but difficulties. You're facing? Yeah, that's like, some of you are like, that's my whole life. Okay, he says, when you see nothing but difficulties, when you face nothing but difficulties, see it. He's saying, see it. Observe it as an invaluable opportunity to experience the greatest joy that you can. Amen. Is God mental? No. That is what he says. When you see nothing but, that means only difficulties, then you do life in such a way, you act, you talk, you be like you're experiencing the greatest joy that you can. Why you all coming here and feel feel free, feel relaxed, feel calm? Because there are two people who are living in this house who set a precedence in TNC no matter what. It's not like we don't have difficulties. We have bigger difficulties than each and every one of you. I can write it down and say that. Okay? We don't let them bother you. And we have fun. We have fun. We make joy a priority. And because of that, you instantly tap into that. Yeah. That's the truth. But it's sometimes good being here. The moment you go back, have you ever seen there is a little bit of dulling? Oh, yeah. Yeah? Why?
We're not able to do that.
Yeah, but you need to understand the same covering exists. The same exists. And all you got to do is understand that and you reciprocate. Say reciprocate. And he goes on to say, for you know that when your faith is tested, that means when difficulties come, it stirs up in you the power of endurance. And man, encourage them. I mean, not the problems, encourage having problems. Okay? When your faith gets stirred up, it gives you endurance. And then as your endurance grows even stronger, it will release perfection. It will release into every part of your being until there is nothing missing. So, suffering and problems will make you better. Will make you Christ-like. I will also show that why. Okay? And if anyone longs to be wise, ask God. Okay? And God will give you, He will not scold you for your failures, but He will overwhelm your failures with His generous grace. With His last week's word, levels of grace. Remember that, okay? Just make sure you ask, empowered by confident faith without doubting that you will receive. What are you asking? Not money. Not solutions. Wisdom. Yeah. Say what?
Wisdom.
Okay. And then he goes on to explain why we suffer really, why we don't experience joy. Okay. For the ambivalent person, you know what is ambivalent? Undecided. person who stepped in 2 boats and think that he can sail. Okay? For the ambivalent person believes 1 minute and doubts the next. 1 minute, yes Lord, next minute, no Lord, right? Being undecided makes you become like the rough seas driven and tossed by the wind. Life itself is like a rough sea. If it is not, man, you're blessed. Okay? In that, you're standing 1 foot on 1 boat, another foot on 1 boat, and you think that it's going to be okay. Okay? It's not going to be okay. You are up 1 minute and tossed down the next. When you are half-hearted and wavering, it leaves you unstable. Can you really expect to receive anything from the Lord when you're in that condition? Clear? Self-explanatory. I don't have to say anything. Okay? If it's clear, say it's clear. Or yes. Or just nod.
Yeah.
Okay? I promise you that won't kill you. Okay? Is that alright?
Yes.
Moving on. I did say a lot of reading, so track with me. It's okay if it gets a little longer today, but I want you all to understand this is important. Okay? Same chapter, James 12 to 18, little bit down. Okay? If your faith remains strong, even while surrounded by life's difficulties, you will continue to experience the untold blessings of God. All you got to do is be strong.
Oh gosh, that's good.
How do you be strong? What is the strength of the Lord? Joy is the strength of the Lord. Simple. Okay? True happiness comes. True? As you pass the test with faith and receive the victorious crown of life promised to every lover of God. Are you a lover of God?
Yes.
When you're tempted, don't ever say God is tempting me, for God is incapable of being tempted by evil.
Yeah.
Very clear. This is what something you need to understand. And He is never the source of temptation. He is not the source of temptation. Okay, He gives you the source. Instead, it is each person's own desires and thoughts. And what? That drag them into evil and lure them away into darkness. I'm speaking to you guys. James is also writing to people like you. He's not speaking to the people in the world or per se, whatever we perceive it as. Okay, he says these things, your desires and your thoughts. People automatically assume they all must be partying, having orgies and all that stuff. No man, he's writing to believers. Okay? Into evil and lure them away into darkness. And he goes on to say, evil desires give birth to evil actions, and when sin is fully mature, it can murder you. The wages of sin is?
Yeah.
Period. Not hell, my friends, death. So my friends, don't be fooled by your own desires. Every gift, say every gift, God freely gives us is good and perfect, streaming down from the Father of lights, who shines from the heavens with no hidden shadow or darkness, and is never subject to change. And is never? God was delighted to give us birth by the truth of His infallible word, so that we, say me, would fulfill His chosen destiny. So why are you being given spiritual gifts? Why are you being given anything? To fulfill His destiny. Say His destiny. For us, His destiny for us, and become the favorite ones out of all creation. So today, there is a chance that you and I can fall out from being that place of favorite part of His creation. There is a chance. It's not in His eyes, but we choose a destiny like that. Life and death are lay in front of you. Life and death at the tip of your tongue. So many things like that. Okay? That means today we have the power to choose life or death. Okay? Is that okay so far?
Yes.
So that's purely about perseverance. If you're having troubles, this is what you do. Okay? Moving on. Romans 5, 3 to 5. Again, I'm just accentuating. I'm just not accentuating. I'm making what I said already stronger. Okay? But that's not all, even in times of trouble. Okay? We have a joyful confidence. Not just confidence, but a joyful confidence. Knowing that our pleasures in us will develop again patient endurance. Not just endurance, but patient endurance. Patience produces a good fruit. Okay? And patient endurance will refine our character, and proven character leads us back to hope. Okay? And this hope is not a disappointing fantasy, because we can now experience the endless love of God cascading into our hearts through the Holy Spirit who lives within us. You got it? So when you have times of trouble, you have joyful confidence. And don't let anything come and shake this confidence. Okay? So he goes on to say, we also glory in our sufferings. What? Huh? We glory in our sufferings because we know suffering produces perseverance, perseverance character, and character hope. This is the other translation. Okay? Now we have an idea about glory, no? Glory looks like something, right? It says suffering is glory.
Yeah.
Hello, my friend.
It's a weight of the presence.
It's weight. Glory looks like I am sitting in the heavens. The crown. I have 12 crowns, and 12 crowns have million gems. Each gem is everything that I have saved, the people that I have saved. Alright? Do you think that is glory, man? Here it says glory is suffering. Okay? Now you need to understand glory, you can't think of glory without suffering. It's a weight. Okay? Seems ridiculous, but that's what you need to understand. Okay? Who's getting this? Okay? Now, you might be asking, why do I have to suffer when he suffered? Right? He suffered, no? He suffered for me, no? By his stripes I am healed, and I am made perfect, and he has come to give me life in abundance. What we don't understand is there is something in between called the natural, the world, the ego, the systems that are designed. It is built on the suffering of many. It's built on the?
Suffering is many.
Don't you think it's there in the world right now?
It is.
Yeah. Okay, so if you don't understand suffering, you truly can't be compassionate.
True.
And the weight of his presence will kill your ego. So
Yeah,
that
and the weight
it's
of his
painful
presence
and
will
suffering.
come and dismantle your ego. And that looks like dying. In that death, how many of you think, even though you once you understand it, the word is enjoyable, the word is beautiful, and you experience the fruit of it, and you're like, yeah, wow, good. But then once we are counseling you, we are telling you, no, endure, or go through this, or we sometimes say, you've got to do this on your own, or whatever. It sounds like hard. But then when you go through it, you come out and say, wow, it's a good thing I heard. Look what happened. No? Okay? So suffering will build you up because you now partake in his sufferings. I will tell you, I'm not going to read everything. Philippians 3:10 says, to know the power of his resurrection and participate in his sufferings, becoming like him in his death. Okay? 1 Peter 4:13 says, rejoice in as much as you participate in the sufferings of Christ. Romans 8:17 says, now if we are children, then we are co-heirs with God. Remember that verse? It says, Christ, if indeed we share in his sufferings, in order that we may also share in his glory. Man. 1:5, 2 Corinthians, for just as we share abundantly in the sufferings of Christ. Colossians 1:24, now I rejoice in what I am suffering for you, Paul says to the people. Okay? And I will fill up in my flesh what is still lacking because of my sufferings. Crazy. Okay? 2 Timothy 2:12, if we endure, we will also reign with him. If you
Endure.
and the word today is perseverance, man. Perseverance looks like enduring, not running away. Huh? Too heavy? Should I read more? No, I think the point is made clear. It's written throughout the Bible in different places that we suffer, we partake in the sufferings of Christ. Okay? If you're still struggling, even after answering the call, it is because of that. If your conscience is clear about where you are, what you're doing, and you think you're being led and you still find a little bit of suffering, it's because you're partaking in the suffering. And with that suffering comes the weight, and with that weight comes compassion to be there for another. Okay? Yes or no? If your answer is no, for that, I think it's your own doing, and you didn't understand the word, and that too, the basics of it.
It's the people who suffer the most that are there for the others.
Yeah, people who suffer the most that are there for the other people. People who are seen suffering the most are there. Okay? That is why you don't know where we come from. Okay? And when you're called, it is heavy. But like we spoke last week, grace is available. Okay? Through this, God blesses you. Every time from the time we got married, from the first house to we lived in, every house that we moved was an upgrade. Everything that we have done each and every year is an upgrade. quality of life kept improving, improving, improving. It doesn't matter the bank balance. It doesn't matter, I promise you. Because today we have more things than we ever did. We experience more than we ever did. We do what we do more than we ever did. So it's the fact. How? Because now we understand this word that perseverance means enduring. It doesn't mean that you're going to miss out on anything. You will experience everything. Clear? Okay? So far clear? Understand perseverance? Okay? I'm going to read something in Galatians 6, 2 to 10. Love, say love, empowers us to fulfill the law of the Anointed One as we carry each other's troubles. My God. As we carry each other's troubles, we are fulfilling the law of God. Interesting. Not when we are sitting far away and doing what we are doing, but when we are carrying each other's troubles, we are fulfilling the law of God. I hope you're getting this, okay? If you think you are somebody too important to stoop down to help another, you are living in deception. You're living in? Deception is not getting distracted by Antichrist. Deception is a loveless life. Let everyone, say everyone, be devoted to fulfill the work God has given them to do with excellence. With what?
Excellence.
Okay, I don't know what Bible you read. This is my Bible. This is why we do what we do. This is what TNC is about. This is what Wow Life is about. And their joy will be in doing what's right and being themselves, and not in being affirmed by others. Every believer, say every believer, is ultimately responsible for his or her own conscience. You know what's the context here? Galatians 6. It's against law versus grace, as most of you understand. Okay?
Right.
And then he goes on to say, and those who are taught the word, who are those guys who are taught the word? Hear you all. Okay? This is taught. I'm teaching you the word. Okay? Those who are taught the word must share. Say what?
Share.
All good things with their teacher. Hello? Huh? All what?
Good things.
Interesting. You wonder why church is the way it is. Okay, and then you know what's the next statement he says? God will never be mocked.
Wow. That is different.
What is the title?
Generosity is perseverance.
Generosity in perseverance. Now you understand perseverance. I'm going to teach you what generosity looks like. Okay? And then the very next verse. For what you plant will always be the very thing you harvest. Where are you planting? Context, people, come on. The verse before that. And those who are taught the word must share all good things with their teacher. God will never be mocked. For what you plant will always be the very thing you harvest. The harvest you reap reveals the seed that you planted. If you plant the corrupt seeds of self-life into this natural realm, you can expect a harvest of corruption. Interesting. If you plant the good seeds of spiritual life, you will reap beautiful fruits that grow from the everlasting life of the Spirit. Very interesting. And this is what he says. Okay? He takes a belt, whacks you a couple of times. Now he's applying balm, which looks like another couple of whacks. And don't allow yourself, to be wary in planting good seeds for the season of reaping. Say reaping. The wonderful harvest you planted is coming. It will not miss you if you've done well. Hello? Okay? Take advantage. Okay? Take advantage of every opportunity to be a blessing to others. What are we taking advantage of out there in your life? I can get a free gift. Scratch cards, Google Pay on Scratch, what am I getting? But here he says, take advantage to be a blessing to another. Bless you. Okay? Especially to our brothers and sisters in this family of faith. People, is this your scriptures? This is Galatians 6. For you to go back and read 2 to 10. God shall not be mocked. Crazy. It's mental. Okay? I'll move on. Remember, pressed down, shaken together. Whose favorite verse is that? Huh? Everybody, you know. God will give me, bro, pressed down, shaken together till I can't handle it. Right? Anyone knows where it is?
It's in
It's in the Bible, no? It's in Luke. Okay? Luke 6:38, which is also a kind of a parallel to Matthew 6, which is also again God and mammon. Remember that? It's Luke 6 is that. But there are different things here that are thing. Luke 6:38. Give generously. Give?
generously.
Interesting. And generous gifts will be given back to you. And like I said last week, there are levels of grace. Levels of?
Grace.
And they have set us back because we think being in grace looks like being myself and it's okay. A mature son is the one who is led by the Spirit, Spirit word, Spirit life. Okay? Give generously and generous gifts will be back to you. Shaken down to make room for more. That's when shaken down, pressed together is happening. Before shaken down, pressed together is happening, there is giving. Very interesting. Okay? Abundant gifts will pour out upon with such an overflowing measure that it will run over the top. Your cup will overflow. Okay? The measurement of your generosity becomes a measurement of your return.
The measurement of generosity.
The measurement of your generosity becomes the measurement of your return.
What you
If-
sow.
Yeah, if you have plenty and you give little, you get.
Little.
If you have little and you give plenty, I'm not saying empty your bank accounts for me. Maybe I am.
Maybe like one bank account.
Yeah.
Right now.
I know, but you know, Mercy said maybe they're like what bank account. But man, if you truly want to be blessed in life, if you truly want to be a mover and a shaker, if you truly want to be the one who's gonna be standing up for the word, or if you truly want to be a Christian,
It's a
you need to
position.
understand it's a position, and the position is paid for, but it'll look like something in the natural. Okay? To him who has more,
More.
more what? Capacity to grow. Remember? Okay? How will you grow something when you're not willing to let go of something?
Right, makes space.
Interesting. Okay, I move on. Can I?
Yeah.
Is this good? I guess enjoying it?
Yes.
Wow.
Okay. Sometimes if it's tough to hear, that means there is a death that needs to be done. It's called the death of the ego. This is just scriptures, man. Like I said, I'm reading. Okay? 2 Corinthians 9, 6 to 11. Here's my point, says Paul. A stingy sower will reap a meager harvest, but the one who sows from a generous spirit will reap an abundant harvest. Generous?
Spirit.
Generosity in perseverance. Where is it? Let giving, he says, flow from your heart. You never sow out of religious duty, is what this verse says. You sow always from the abundance of your heart. Your abundance of your heart doesn't depend on percentages. Your abundance of the heart depends on how big. And one day Ezra came and said, I was talking about somebody, like, they're very faithful, 10%. And he said, much of people who give you 10% will only give God 10%
Of themselves.
of themselves. Okay? And he says, I'm going to come and preach in your church and dismantle this 10% thing. We said, go for it.
And he came and said,
And he came and said,
don't give.
don't give. If it is not from the abundance of your heart. And we say that too. I'm saying it right now. If it is not from the abundance of your heart, don't give it. But if you give it, watch then what will happen. Okay? Are we okay?
Yeah, she said, stop tithing, stop giving
Yeah.
offerings to your
And he
heart."
said how the church has been misusing it, taking advantage of the people with QR codes and whatnot and everything else. He gave examples of things that were happening and said how it's become a thing. That people are scared when they don't tithe, they will not get. We've stopped that culture a long time ago. We just want to again reiterate and say, if it is not from the abundance of the heart, it's useless.
And if you are looking for abundance,
And if you're looking for abundance, you can't hold back, because how abundant is your heart? It's out of the abundance of the heart the mouth speaks, no? Out of the abundance of the heart the hand acts. Out of the abundance of the heart you are who you are. Truth. Okay, and then he goes on to say, not from a sense of religious duty out of your heart, let it spring up freely from the joy of giving. If giving is not joyful, man, it'll be tough. I'm not saying it is not going to be tough. It'll be tough, but you've got to make it joyful. Okay? All because God loves, the verse here says in the Passion Translation, hilarious generosity. That's why we don't hold back. Hilarious.
Generosity.
What does that look like?
I don't know, just crazy.
Foolish,
Ridiculous.
ridiculous, senseless.
Yeah.
Okay? Yes, this is Christianity. If you can't handle it right now, get up and walk, no problems. No problem. If Mercy and I are the only one remaining here, I will still finish the sermon and close. No problem. Not a problem. This is what calling looks like. This is what truth looks like. Okay? Yes. Say yes. God now, after reading what I just read, this is what it says. God is more than ready to overwhelm you with every form of grace, so that you will have more than enough of everything, every moment and in every way. Context is, God is going to give you meager harvest, but then there is a condition, which is what? Give. How? Hilariously. People wonder, why isn't that I experience Isaiah 60? I want you all to go back and read Isaiah 60. If joy is not there in your life, you are holding things back. You're holding yourself back and not letting go of things in the natural. Period. Prove me otherwise. Okay? He will make you overflow with abundance in every good thing you do. In what? You do. Just as the scriptures say about the one who trusts him. Because, say what?
Trust.
Because he has sown extravagantly and given to the poor, his kindness and generous deeds will never be forgotten. This is what God is saying. Will never be. We make a drama about giving to the poor. No? This generous God who supplies abundant seed for the farmer, which becomes bread for our meals, is even more extravagant toward you. Man, come on, man. How you want to be blessed? I want house, I want car, few acres for, and in that corner mother-in-law will stay, that corner father-in-law will stay. They're all far away. In between there will be dogs. This is the maximum amount of house that I want. These are the number of cars I want. This is what my garage would look like. All this very easy will come out of your mouth. No? Nothing wrong. I have too. I can give you lists and lists of that as well. But how are you going to get there? There are only two masters. Yeshua, aka other one is Mammon. Matthew 6. Okay. He goes on to say, he multiplies the seed as you sow it, so that the harvest of your generosity will grow. You will be abundantly enriched in every way as you give generously. Man, generosity, generosity, generosity. You can't do ministry if you're not generous. Forget it. If you're thinking that doing ministry is a business, don't do it. If you think that you're going to do ministry as a source, no, you can't. You cannot be successful if you're going to make your ministry a source of your income. You do it because it's about people. It's about
People.
Am I okay?
Yeah.
I'm okay. Thank you very much. Okay. Are you guys okay?
Yeah. Super.
This is your truth, man.
Shaking a bit.
It has to be shaken. Without shaking, there is no abundance. Without suffering, there is no more. Because shaking and suffering brings a death to that thing that we hold on, which the system has raised, which is called the ego. Are you okay? You feel like you are striving way hard to get very little in return? No? No, I'm not saying you are. Do you feel like that? You don't have to answer if you don't want to answer. My friend, you didn't get the principle of what abundance is, of what prosperity is. Okay? Or Mammon's got you hooked onto worshipping him over the word. Simple. God's not God, Mammon's your God. Okay? Oh, I love God, word, spirit is what you think you do, but I'm afraid then you would be spending most of what you have answering that call. Hello? You love the word?
Yeah.
How much do you spend yearly on food? Not you, I'm not asking you. Huh? How much do you spend yearly on word? My conscience is clear. Her conscience is clear. Very clear. Am I speaking to somebody?
Yeah.
This is not for the weak and the young. This is not for suckling babes. We have done with that phase last year itself. This is a word that is coming. It's steak, raw, wagyu. It's wagyu. Because it tastes good, it will have amazing effects on you. It's healthy because it will set you up for more. It's for the mature sons. Say, I'm a mature son. Come on, man. Are you?
Yes.
Come on. Are you getting this?
Yes.
Okay. See, go to the New Testament. Okay, anywhere. And talk about all the verses that you have there, which you use commonly to tell yourself that God's going to bless me. One of the favorite things is Jehovah Jireh, my provider. His grace is? Maybe we'll sing that. No? Yeah, we'll sing it. Okay. Philippians 4 is where it is. This is what it says in Passion Translation. I'm convinced, say convinced, that my God will fully satisfy every need you have. Philippians, I am convinced God shall supply all your needs. Okay? For I have seen, Paul is saying, I have seen the abundant riches of glory revealed to me through Christ Jesus. For God, what is the words again in other translation? By God shall supply all your needs according to his riches in glory. Okay, yeah, according to his riches in glory. It says glory revealed to me through Christ, I know. Okay, and then I'm going to read now the context. So next time you say my God shall supply all my needs, you will remember the context. So 19.
You're like terrified to hear the
I
context.
got it.
Nobody wants to hear the context.
Philippians 4:19 is what that verse is. My God shall supply all my needs. Now I'm going to read from 10 to 18. This is church. This is the body of Christ. This is spirituality. This is Christendom, also known as kingdom. Philippians 4. Like I said, I'm only reading 10 to 18. My heart overflows with joy when I think of how you demonstrated love to me by your financial support of my ministry. For even though you have so little, you still continue to help me at every opportunity. I'm not telling you this because I'm in need. I am not, Mercy and Navamsi are telling you this not because we are in need. It's because it's the truth. For I have learned to be satisfied in any circumstance. We have learned to be satisfied in any circumstance. I know what it means to lack. I know what it means to experience overwhelming abundance. For I am trained, say trained, in the secret of overcoming all things, whether in fullness or in hunger. It's a mistake we all do. We celebrate when we have more, and we curse and play and bicker and fight and argue and suffer when we don't have.
And condemn ourselves.
Uncondemn ourselves when we don't have. But he says, I am trained in the secret of overcoming all things, whether in fullness or in hunger. You can't let a small miracle like manifesting 10 crores make you super joyful. Celebrate it. Enjoy it. The very next moment, say, I'm grateful, and move on. Should be a thought. Should be fleeting, not forever. We celebrate minus balance. No, we don't. But we celebrate credit. Oh, it's come. He says, I'm trained in overcoming that as well as this. If you don't overcome that, how will you overcome this? Sons in the house. And I find, he goes on to say, that the strength of Christ's explosive power, whose? His explosive power infuses me to conquer every difficulty. Okay? You so graciously provided for my essential needs during this season of difficulty. For I want you to know that the Philippian church was the only church that supported me in the beginning as I went out to preach the gospel. You were the only church that sowed into me financially when I was in Thessalonica. You supported me for well over a year. I mention this not because I'm requesting a gift, but so that the fruit of your generosity may bring you an abundant reward. Okay? I now have all I need, more than enough. I am abundantly satisfied, for I have received the gift you sent. Again, they have sent him a gift. For I have received the gift you sent by some guy called Epaphroditus, and viewed it as a sweet sacrifice, perfumed with the fragrance of your faithfulness, which is so pleasing to God. And then he goes on to say, my God shall supply all your needs according to his riches in glory. Context. It's a no-brainer. Isn't it not? Is it a brainer? It's a no-brainer. Hello? Are you guys getting it? So these are some of the verses we tell ourselves when we face lack. Every verse, context is what? So how? Generously. How generously? Hilarious generosity. Foolish generosity. Have you ever seen people who do this religiously? I have. They're not lacking. Religiously, they're not lacking. Have you ever seen these people who do this with open heart? I have. They're still not lacking. But they have more capacity, fame, things to change. Just their presence is enough for people to come and get like, Who's your daddy? Am I speaking to somebody? Yeah, that's your daddy. That's the right answer. Okay. Acts 2, 42 to 47. I've never seen this church be so quiet.
And it's not God saying, I will only give if you give.
No.
It is a position.
Position, yeah, because as long as something, that's why,
Yeah.
it's God is not saying I'm not going to bless you if you're not going to do it. God's already done everything that He has done. Okay? It's you're not positioning yourself in generosity, in perseverance, and thereby you think that magic is going to happen for things to change. You have to position yourself in perseverance. You have to position yourself in generosity in the little. Nobody's asking you to give what you don't have. Nobody's asking you to take bank loans and give it to us. Nobody's asking you to say you have to tithe 10%, 20%, 30%. No. This is the word and the speak. Who is your God? How much valuable is the word to you? And when you value the word over everything else, what does it happen? Hello? Is what this is about. My conscience is very clear. Okay? Can we move on? Acts 2, 42 to 46. Every believer was faithfully devoted to following the teachings of the apostles. Following them? Their hearts were mutually linked to one another, sharing communion. That's what we're going to do today. And coming together regularly for prayer. Okay? A deep sense of holy awe swept over everyone. And the apostles performed many miraculous signs and wonders. This is what a community should look like. This is what a church should look like. Okay? All the believers were in fellowship as one body, and they shared with one another whatever they had. Whatever? Very interesting. Out of generosity, they even sold their assets to distribute the proceeds to those who are in need among them. People, what are we talking about? Where is the church? They sold what?
All of that.
Their assets. Okay? Daily they met together in the temple courts and in one another's homes to celebrate communion. We do that now as much as we can.
Yes.
Different kind of communion, but we do. Okay? They shared meals together with joyful hearts and tender humility. We do that too. They shared everything, man. That is church. That is why we do what we do. Not because it's easy. Not because it's pleasant having everybody at home. But it's a thing that we do because money is not important. Community is important. People are important. So what do? Whatever it takes. How much ever it costs. Because it costed him everything. And if you're partaking in everything, it looks like something. I promise you that God, it says He's a rewarder of faith. It says, even when we read, He rewards you when you persevere and you do what you need to do. Good works, He rewards you. It says, I'm very confident, no matter how many people come, who doesn't come, we do what we do, there is a reward. But I don't do this for the reward. I do it because it's a call and it's the truth. And that is who we are. What are we really talking about here?
Position.
Yeah. You know, what did the church do, the early church? This culture was lost. Christmas, come home for lunch, bro. No? Christmas is when we go out and we'll do stuff, give to the poor. Rest of the year, the poor are not hungry. How are we going to be a solution to the world if we are caught up in our own? Hello? Who does this? Crazy people? No, God's people. His sons. Crazy. Okay? So what if right now I have to tell you, give all that you have away? Okay? I'm speaking, it's not like I'm challenging you, but consider this as a challenge just in your consciousness. Okay? Or too much, away too much. 50% of your bank balance, 50% of what you have, half of your car, half of your bike. Okay? Right now, let that 50% go. Okay? Do you think you will? You don't have to answer. Do you know why you won't? That is what I'll tell you. First, you think it's yours, and somehow you earned it. There is absolutely no grace. Okay? It's works mode, not grace mode. And that is why you won't do, number one. Number two, you think by letting this go, it cannot be replaced. By letting this go, it will not come back. Okay?
Or you don't know how you will survive.
Yeah, or you don't know how you will survive. Or what if it doesn't come? If that's your position, who is your God? I'm trying to speak to somebody so that you'll understand what, depending on the word, depending on source, what being led by God, led by source would look like. Am I speaking to somebody?
Yes.
Okay? Secondly, or rather, third thing is, the word is my source. The what? He has created everything through His word. And everything is held together by Him through His love. Okay? And everything, all things. So what is the source of all things? Word is the source of all things. When we look at all things and we say, somehow, the presence of word or absence of word depends on all things, no? Whether we have or not, you think like, what have I done wrong? When we are not blessed. There is a sense, there is a truth, element of truth to this question.
The co-laboring.
Yeah, there is an element of truth to that question, like what have I done? But all you need to ask is, have I not positioned myself correctly? Okay, you would know right off the bat, I will tell you where you haven't positioned yourself correctly is you haven't rested. You are like what James says, wavering, one moment up, next moment down, next moment up, next moment up, being tossed around like a sea, one moment up, down, down, down. And then you say, I have positioned myself correctly, why don't I have? And when you have lack, suddenly you're like, get up and let me do something, what can I do? I will raise money this way, I'll raise money that way, I'll ask that guy to invest, he'll ask this, blah, 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 all this we do. That's when I sense God most of the time say, rest, be still, and know that I am God. When I am still, I hear, join this course, or do that, sign up here, sign in here, take that laptop and do this here, and then I do boom, 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 boom. Lay it all down for whatever you think is the right course, and then boom, fruit. Am I speaking to somebody? Why I'm preaching this is because we don't hold back. We made it a culture. We don't hold back. When we hear something awesome and we hear good, we do our best to make sure that is valued. Okay? And that is why we experienced all the abundance and all the flow the way we do. Not because we teach and we have people, not because we have run ministry and then sources and different things will happen. I promise you, there are sources that are outside this ministry that come. Okay? Every electronic gadget, my story, I have, except the phone that I have, is a gift. And I have a lot of gadgets. The car that I drive is a gift. Around the time we have that car, somebody else came and sold a second car. We gave it off. We sold it off and we had a holiday with it. Doesn't matter. Okay. Whatever little we could get out of the car. Still, we went to Sri Lanka. Anyway, okay. And these are all not gifts necessarily from you guys whom we minister to. They have come from different sources, different places. What flow looks like. Why does this happen to only me, or why is it not happening to you, and why do I have to spend all my money doing things for myself when you know that this is what perseverance looks like, and all I have to do, persevere. While I'm persevering, I need to be generous. I need to value the most valuable thing in my life, which is the word, and what does that look like is what will create a flow and abundance in your life. Do I need to say more? Another biggest example, now that we are almost like, Aiden's last term is coming, his school fee, which is very expensive, right, is taken care of by someone else. Mercy and I didn't have to struggle for it this whole year. Who's not from TNC? Huh? And fuel is also expensive for him, but that is also, I know, is a free flow. Because he is blessed. When Mercy wants something, it happens. As much as it happens. Crazy. Why? Because she says, whatever we need to do, we will do. Whatever. This many people are coming. It doesn't matter. Let's do our best. You go run around, clean that room, clean this room, put that bed sheet here, put them all for washing. Done. And I do sitting there talking to people and cook when I can and party with you all too much. Yeah? There is a flow.
2 hours you came for karaoke, that doesn't count.
And you need to reciprocate. The word says you need to live out the word. You need to respond to the word. Can we take communion? Everybody watching online as well. Guys, I just want you to understand, the Eastern Orthodox Church or even the Catholic Church never looks at these elements as bread and wine. They don't call it symbolic thing. They don't call it, it's a symbol of the body. They say this is the body and this is the blood. Even when Jesus did it, he never said this bread. He said, thank you. This is the body and this is the blood. We don't do this as symbolic. We do it because we are partaking in the blood and in the body. And that is why they do it in such respect, in such holiness. And it passed down to the charismatic Pentecostal movement. It became a thing, and we need to understand that this is discerning the body of God. That means we are discerning right now not just his body, but also each other. We are the body. The broken body. Okay? So it's very important not to have any offense, not to look down on other people, not everything, none of that. Okay? And as we partake, may our conscience, because blood is sprinkled on your conscience and the conscience gets clear, may our conscience be perfected in every area. As conscience is being perfected in every area, there is healing, there is wealth, health, and everything. It is actually a conscience that is not proper with the word. That is why we don't experience what we experience. And as we partake in this, not just our body, but even our conscience is being rectified and healed. Let's take part now in the body. And again, as we drink the blood, may our conscience in the area of health, finances, and especially because of the word what we discussed today, in the case of mammon, be cleared. Partake in the blood. That's a good wine. It's blood. You want this abundance, you just committed murder, you know that? You just committed murder. Partaking in the body and the blood. Okay? You want abundance? No, we don't want anything now. Do you want abundance?
Sure.
Do you want to prosper?
Yes.
And I'm telling you right now, it doesn't matter the past, the moment that has passed before this, the day that has passed before this, or what you did before. All that matters is from this moment on, because we partook what we partook. Okay? So, seek time. And let your response right now be that seed. Okay? Because you are new, the old is gone. So what you did before is also gone. It's fresh, it's new. Okay? We close with this and then we'll pray. Hebrews 6:10-12. For God, the faithful one, is not unfair. Say, he's not unfair. How can he forget the beautiful work you have done for him? What? God will not forget the beautiful work you have done for him. He remembers the love you demonstrate as you continually serve his beloved ones for the glory of his name. He will not forget. He will remember. He remembers everything that you've done. Okay? But we long to see you. But we long to see you passionately advance until the end and you find your hope fulfilled. So don't allow your hearts to grow dull or lose your enthusiasm, but follow the example of those who fully received what God has promised because of their strong faith and patient endurance. Because of their strong faith and patient endurance. What is patient endurance? Enduring patiently, aka stillness, aka rest. The word said,